You're listening to The Practice of a Hoodoo Baptist, my personal journey of root work, faith, and ancestral wisdom. This is where I honor the ones that came before me, share what's been passed down, and walk you through my experiences of being unapologetically aligned, covered by spirit, guided by blood. We're in a season of reckoning, okay? Not just spiritually, but historically. And this episode is about belonging, even when they try to write us out of the story. Because if you've got Black Creek, Black Choctaw, Black Cherokee blood, you know what it means to live on the edge of erasure. But baby, we been belonging. Okay? This one's for the descendants of Creek freedmen. Okay, shout out to all of my Creek freedmen descendants out there. Okay, I see y'all. I love y'all. We got us, okay? This is also for everybody, for everyone who's carrying African and Native American blood. For those who are carrying African and Native American memory, for those who are carrying African and Native American magic. This is for the ones who were told they couldn't claim what they already were. This is, I'm gonna try not to get emotional this episode, but this is definitely this is personal as fuck. I cuss, so excuse my language. I'm speaking English, but part of my language is cussing, so I cuss. No curse, I cuss. It's a difference. This is personal for me because of my genetic makeup. On my paternal side, I am African and Indigenous. I am African and Native American. Specifically, I am African and I am Creek. Who were the Creek freedmen? Creek freedmen were enslaved Black people held by the Muscogee. Okay, the Muscogee tribe, the Muscogee nation. They were held by Creek citizens prior to the Civil War. Okay. After emancipation, they were freed and they were promised rights. They were promised citizenship. They were promised all these things via a treaty signed with the U.S. I want to believe in 1866, and I'm going to do a little bit of research as I'm doing this episode. I'm going to just kind of look up some things just to back up what I'm saying. But yeah, so history has it, like, after emancipation, enslaved Black folks who, folks who were enslaved by other Creeks, there was some living going on, during the enslavement, after the enslavement, but a lot of living going on because even though I'm not going to sit here and like believe or say that everyone's experience was completely the same as far as when we're talking about our enslaved ancestors. Like some of them, might have had like vastly different experiences from one another because of the family that they were enslaved by, or because of their location, because of what they look like, their body built, whatever. I'm sure they all had different, all of them may have had different experiences, and I think that's also beautiful too, to think of it that way. But let's just say, we know the real tea is that some mixing and, mating was going on, whether it was through love, through, the sake of just an arrangement, for marriage, but yeah, some some love making and baby making, and and before you know, we had some Black Creek babies, beautiful babies. And if you look down into the future, you'll find even someone like little old me who has both African and Native American blood, in her body. But getting back to the treaties, though, like despite those treaties, descendants of Creek freedmen were stripped of citizenship by the nation, by the Muscogee Nation in 1979. So picture this. So picture like an entire 100 years pass. Everything's cool, everything's straight. But then in 1979, the Muscogee Nation just, decides like, nah. we're gonna side with white supremacy on this and say like, no, y'all are not Creeks. Y'all are not citizens. We don't even see y'all. We not even trying to go there with y'all. So anyone who was Creek freedmen then, who, whether they were on a reservation, they were on some land, they were in Oklahoma or not, but of course, who you are. Like when you're born, you have your family history. You know what's up. We we know this from things being passed down, folklore, folk tales, folklore, family history. Come on now, like these things have been passed down generations. And of course, through time, people were already settled wherever they were, whether they were settled in Alabama, like my family, still in Oklahoma, settled in Florida, Georgia, Texas. It didn't matter because from your family history, through things being told to you, passed down, stories, pictures, photo albums, records, deeds, birth certificates, death certificates. Like you just know. And then on top of that, like a lot of us today, Creek descendants of today, Creek freedmen descendants of today, a lot of us grew up with great grandparents like myself. My great grandmother passed away when I was 15 and she was 84. Okay. So she lived through this, lived through understanding that, she was living in Alabama, living her Black, Native woman life. But yeah, come 1979, like the Muscogee Nation decides like we're only going to recognize folks with full blood, half blood, white blood. Okay, that's really, let's just keep it 100. Like that's what it was given. It was given. Oh, we don't want to acknowledge the history that we have or our participation in the enslavement of human beings. We don't want to acknowledge that our ancestors were also having sex, mating, making babies, marrying enslaved human beings or formerly enslaved human beings. We don't want to acknowledge the pain that we participated in, the pain that we caused. We don't want to have to be, accountable to reparations and any other forms of repair because of our participation in the enslavement of African people. That's what I heard. That's what I read. Okay. And again, essentially, like they sided with white supremacy, and they have been siding with white supremacy ever since then. That is until a group of descendants of Creek freedmen decided to sue the Muscogee Nation. Okay. An amazing Black woman by the name of Rhonda Grayson, who's a huge part of the lawsuit. In fact, there's two main individuals who are part of this lawsuit, and she is the Black woman that is suing on not just on behalf of herself, but on behalf of her ancestors who she has pictures of, who she knows is listed, on the Dawes Roll as a Creek freedman, and can trace it, all the way down. Okay. And I can relate to that. Like, I'm just 36 years old, but I can trace my lineage, to a person on the Dawes Roll listed as a Creek freedman who is my third great grandfather. And his great granddaughter was my great grandma. Like, Lord. His first great grandchild was my great grandma, who passed away when I was 15. So I have always known that I am a Black woman, yes. And I am also a Native American woman, and that makes me a Black Native American woman. And I have ties to this land wherever I go in America, because I'm a descendant of the original people of this land. And I'm also a descendant of people who were forced to this land and who survived being on this land. And for whatever reason, however it went down, I am here because of folks who decided to survive, to move forward, to advance, and to keep going. And I'm super grateful of that. And that's a huge reason why I'm doing this episode. I'm having this discussion, and I'm educating y'all. So shout out to Rhonda Grayson. Shout out to you. Shout out to the entire team, all the individuals that have been a part of this lawsuit, in reclaiming your birthright, our birthright. Okay. I'm super grateful of everything. I've spoken to Miss Rhonda before, and I actually hope to have her on this podcast. I'm actually going to hit her up again. I recently told her, that I was really grateful for her, and I thanked her. And yeah, I would love to have her on this podcast so we can kind of like dive into it and talk about like why doing your genealogy, being tapped into your family tree is so important, y'all. Like, for real. It's so important, because if you don't, it's low key like you're participating in your own erasure. Okay. Like, let's keep it a buck, because as our folks are passing away, they're taking so much with them when they're passing away. Like, so much knowledge, so much wisdom, like all these things that we just may not know and may not be able to continue on and pass down. And it's sad because so much is dying with them. And I truly believe in all forms, forgetting is the true death. Okay. Seriously. Let me tell y'all what happened though. So they've been a part of this lawsuit for some years, for some time. And Muscogee Nation, mind you, ever since 1979, again, they stripped away Black Creeks, Creek freedmen, and their descendants, just stripped away citizenship, said, nah, we gonna roll with the white folks on there. However, what's crazy is that it's specifically, and it's not just the Muscogee Nation who did this, like all the Native American tribal nations did this at one point. And come the 2000s, some heavy on the some of them decided that they were going to, rise above, okay, and say, you know what? We are not going to side with white supremacy. We are going to make this right. So there are some nations that have decided to reconcile and welcome freedmen descendants as citizens. And there's a whole process where you have to apply for citizenship. Shout out to the Creeks. The Creeks have done this. They handle this. They made arrangements, and folks now are able to not only like say it through their mind, through their heart, through their tongue, but actually show some type of proof by way of a citizenship card, citizenship paperwork, ID, to have the benefits, the full benefits of being a member of that nation. So it's important for folks to know, like, all the nations were with the bullshit for a long time, since 1979 or, around that time. So now moving forward, folks still have to fight. And fighting has been worth it, because in July 2025, the Supreme Court of the Muscogee Nation ruled in favor of the freedmen descendants, affirming their right to citizenship, affirming my right to citizenship. Okay, can I get an amen? A woman, okay? Ashe. Let me go ahead and just really say it's about goddamn time, because what the fuck? What was the reason besides white supremacy? What was the reason for denying us? We right here. You see us. What's the reason besides white supremacy? Name a reason that has nothing to do with white supremacy why they were denying us. Go ahead, I'll wait. This historic decision, though, restores what was stolen. Chelsea Von Chaz, what was stolen? Let me tell you. Identity, access, inheritance, and belonging. This historic decision, it's so important. It's monumental. This is a win, okay? This is a win. This affirms that tribal sovereignty should not be used as a tool for anti-blackness. Because keeping it real, the Muscogee Nation, Choctaw, Cherokee, Seminole, all the nations that decided to continue on with that bullshit since the 1970s, stripping and denying Black Native Americans as citizens, all of y'all who did that, participated in that, and supported that, all of y'all are anti-Black as fuck and wrong. Extremely wrong. It is wrong for y'all to side with racism. It is wrong for y'all to side with white supremacy. And y'all ain't shit, just like those same racist whites who murdered and pushed your ancestors out. You are just like them white people. I said what the hell I said. I said what I said. Now, if you have had a change of heart, if you have had a change of heart, if you have come to the light, amen, if you have now gained some goddamn sense, welcome. Step into the light, Carolyn. Okay? This house is clean. Let me stop. But yeah, welcome to the light, bitches. But anywho, it's about time. All the thanks goes to, all of just the lawyers involved, Mr. Solomon. Shout out to you. Everybody involved with the lawsuits. This is just so important. Like, I want to give all the thanks. Okay. And this is not just this is a win for Creek descendants, Creek freedmen descendants. This is also a win for all of the Black people who have Native ancestry in their blood. Like, let's think about this. Like, Black and Indigenous. First of all, if you Black and Indigenous, you are powerful. You are so powerful. Okay, they should be scared of you. And maybe that's the reason why they denied you for this long, because they scared, because they know how powerful you are. I want to give a heavenly shout out to a man by the name of Island Smith. He passed away time ago, but he is a legend in the conjure community. He is a legend in the hoodoo, conjure, tradition, derived religion, spiritual practice, healing community, because he was a healer. He was Black and Indigenous, and he was a healer. And he was inspired by anyone that was in his community that would get sick, from a relative to a friend to a neighbor, anybody that got sick, he was always inspired to figure out how to make them better. And he learned through his ancestry, through his lineage, through his time of being on the reservation, through his time of not being able to be on the reservation because he was also forced to move around a lot as a child. From doing a little bit of research, come to find out, like, he found his calling just through that process of just having to move around, having to be strong, and people getting sick. And he used herbalism to heal people. And eventually he becomes a root doctor, a conjure man. And in one of the interviews, there's not much about this man online. So if you're going to try to look him up, good luck, child, because we really need, I feel like all the information about him is low-key in some crates somewhere in Oklahoma. Okay. So any of the nations, if you got more details on Island Smith, cough it up. We need to know more information about this great ancestor. What I was going to say, in an interview that he did, he shared how he was proud of being Black, both Black and Indigenous. And he called himself, he said that an elder called him a two-headed person. And he said it was because he held both the magic of being Black and the magic of being Indigenous. And because he had both magics, he was so powerful, and he was able to tap in with his gifts. And his gift was the power of healing. And he was so proud of that. And I love that's such a huge part of his legacy, him talking about being of both and being two-headed, having these two strong sources and elements to make up everything that he was and more. Like, I just love that. Okay, representation matters, y'all. Okay, because think about, like, all these black Southern families that carry Native ancestry, but they were denied legitimacy. And then, I can't stand to hear people say, I can't stand it when somebody say, oh, what you think, you got Indian in your family? Yes, bitch, I do, actually. Yes. And then there's always, I also hate this discussion of folks, like, when people say, I hear someone say, especially online, when folks be trolling all the hoteps, the ignorant hoteps, because I think there are some smart hoteps, but they just, a little lost. But anyway, but I can't stand when someone also says, like, oh, folks want to be everything but Black. Folks want to be attached to being a Cherokee, being a and it's like, wait a minute, like, wait, I exist. We exist, y'all. I can't help it what my ancestors was doing back in the day, as far as, the mixing and things. But it's like, yo, we are all Indigenous. We exist. I'm not going to participate in my erasure at all. I'm both. I've always known that I was both. I can't help it. I can't claim one side and not the other, because both make me who I am. And I'm not thinking I'm better. You think I'm better. And I hope anybody else out there who feels that pressure, or, or just feels a little sad or traumatized about that when people talk about that, it's like, no, they be trying to, gaslight you into thinking like, oh, you think you better. No, I don't think I'm all that. You think I'm all that. That's why you are on this. Go get you something else to play with. Play with your pee-pee. Don't play with me. Anywho, I can't stand that, because there's so much trauma there. And it's like, I ain't got nothing to do with your trauma. I'm trying to heal out my own. Leave me alone. And it's crazy because this is also traumatic for a lot of us. Like, my great grandmother, she didn't necessarily grow up on a reservation. She was already in Alabama by the time she was born. She lived in Alabama her entire life. And I do have family in Oklahoma. There's so much trauma. The trauma of erasure is real. The policing of blood quantum, which is what, like, Muscogee Nation was doing, a lot of these other nations were doing, like that's crazy. And it's all of it is also like it's an act of, like, forced separation of identities. I'm not doing it. Like, nah. I'm not participating in that. I'm not participating in my own erasure. No. I'm both, and that is okay. Being both African and Indigenous is not a contradiction. Being both African and Indigenous is not a contradiction. Okay? It's convergence. It is. Okay? Again, I don't think I'm better. I just know I belong. I know I'm good. I know I'm great. I know I'm a miracle. My ancestors survive. Both sets. My African ancestors survive. My Indigenous ancestors survive. And I am here. Our ancestors survive colonization twice, y'all. Hear me out. All my freedmen descendants, Choctaw, Cherokee, Creek, all my freedmen descendants, hear me out. Our ancestors survived colonization twice. I don't know. Now that I say that, hey, maybe we are the shit. They be trying to make it like we don't exist, but it's like, nah, I'm the shit. Hey, some of us got it. You either born with it or you don't. Let me stop. But no, for real. Think about that. Our ancestors survived colonization twice, and they still passed us memory. They passed us memory, and they did it so well, and we handled it. So we so tough with it that we still got our memory to the point where we fought for this. God bless Rhonda Grayson. God bless Mr. Jeff, who's also part of the lawsuit. Bless everybody that's been part of this lawsuit and other lawsuits to make sure, like, folks stop playing with us. God bless y'all. Seriously. Because that memory was passed down to y'all, and y'all took that and used that. You used that as power to make this happen. And this is just the beginning. Okay? Just the beginning. And I'm excited. I am. Seriously. Because now people are going to feel more empowered to apply for citizenship. People are also going to feel more encouraged to tap into their family history, genealogy. People are going to want to also feel, they're going to dive into the feelings that they have about maybe even learning about practices from both African and Native traditions. Okay. You know, Island Smith, like, God bless him. He probably passed down so much, you know, through his lineage, through helping other people. Like, it's amazing. Like, it's so many practices, like many hoodoo practices, like using tobacco and sweetgrass. There's just so much that traces back to Native knowledge as well. Okay. Yeah, and I was even gonna say like there's just so many different colors, shades of us. Black freedmen, Black Creoles, and Alabama Creoles, and Florida freedmen. Like, it's just so many of us that's just migrated all over the place. Our ancestors migrated and were moved, forced, and pushed and shoved. And some didn't make it, but many did make it, and we're here. And we are here where we have a choice to carry on their traditions. And it's beautiful that, you know, folks, we are here, and there are folks who made it through and who are listening to their ancestors, who care about their people, who care about their parents, care about their grandparents, great-grandparents, their entire family. They care enough to carry on these traditions, whether or not they were officially recognized. Okay? Because real talk, we didn't need the Muscogee Nation to recognize us. For real, we did not need them to recognize us. We recognize ourselves. We know who we are. We know we exist. We have our own communities. Okay? A lot of us still holding it down, doing family reunions. A lot of us have created digital communities to connect with us from all over the globe. Okay. We didn't need like an official recognition. Okay. And that might be a really good question for Miss Rhonda. Like, the goals, the benefits, like the end, the intention and what the goal and the purpose is, behind this, especially now that they have successfully won, and she has fought the fight, and I don't even know if necessarily the fight is completely over. I'm not sure about that, so that'll be a great question for her. But I think this is just the beginning. I really do. Okay. I think for me though, what I wanted from this was just for the nations to stop being so damn anti-Black. I just wanted them to wake up and to actually tap back in with their spirituality. Because I think if they tapped back into their spirituality, there would be no room for white supremacy. I need them to remember instead of trying to forget, instead of trying to erase people. If you've been told your lineage was a lie, it wasn't. If you've been told you don't belong, you do. If you've been made to prove what lives in your blood, what lives in your bones, don't do that. Don't even worry about that. Just rest. You are seen. I see you. I feel you. Don't even trip. Rest. This isn't just about paperwork. It's about legacy. And speaking of paperwork, though, if you believe that you are a descendant of a Creek freedman, look into applying for citizenship. Why not? You might be thinking, why? Why not? What would it lead to? I don't know. Not sure, but why not? Just do it for the hell of it, for the ancestors. Just do it. If you know for a fact that you have a relative down in your lineage, down your bloodline, back in the day, who was named and filed on the Dawes roll under the freedmen, as a freedman, whether it's with Creek, Choctaw, Seminole, Cherokee, whatever. But if you know for sure, like you have an ancestor that's on the Dawes roll, on the freedmen, go ahead and apply for citizenship. And if that nation is not trying to recognize you as a citizen and allow you to apply, join on one of them lawsuits if there's a lawsuit going on. If it ain't a lawsuit going on, start that hoe. Start it, set it up, because why not? We are not to be played with. It's a new day, and we got to be real about this. I'm proud. I am very proud. I knew this day would come. I felt it in my bones. It was just a matter of time. My paperwork, stat, do you hear me? Ready. Already handled, already taken care of. All I got to do now is just wait. Seriously. So please consider applying. Look into it. Do some research. Look into it. Tap into your family history, tap into your genealogy. Like, why not? Just do it. I don't think it'll hurt. And if something does come up as far as some type of pain or trauma, or, you feel like that type of erasure, consider using that as your power to move forward, to advance your people. Because shit, we don't know what this is about to lead to. We just got in here. This is a win. Let's just celebrate the win. I think that's what we're doing. Like, even for me, I'm in this moment of this win. Like, y'all did that. So now that door is open, right? And now there has to be some type of reconciliation. There has to be some accountability and recognize people. And this can lead, who knows what this leads to? This can lead to benefits. Yep. It can lead to reparations. It can lead to folks reconnecting with land that was allotted to some of their ancestors. This can lead to education, free education. This could lead to healthcare. Like, I don't know. I'm just kind of naming other benefits that I know a lot of the nations give to citizens. They're all different, but hey, like, Not sure, don't know. Like, you know. I would also love to see all of the freedmen descendants from all the nations come together and form some type of some type of alliance, elite, something. We need our own, 501c3. We need our own playground. We need our own strategy and game plan. Maybe. I would like to see that though, for sure. But in order for us to get there, like, you got to apply. We got to apply, get approved, put that pressure, okay, on them folks to say, hey, y'all can't be participating in none of that anti-black shit that y'all was on before. Like, move forward, advance, leave that for them crackers, or go over there with them crackers. Real talk. This is about legacy, y'all. This is about land. This is about justice. This is about spiritual justice. I'm proud with my ancestors. The ancestors are rejoicing. We are well within our rights. This is the right to remember. Like I said at the beginning, this is a season of reckoning. We've been belonging. We've been here. We've been known. This is our identity. We didn't need no piece of paper to know who we were. For real, for real. Like, we know this. My grandmother told me I am both. You are a black woman. You are a descendant of folks of Africa. You are a descendant of folks indigenous to this land. You are a Creek baby girl. You are a Black Creek baby girl. And identity is so important for us, especially when it comes to our wellness, especially when it comes to our advancement. This is about spiritual justice. And I truly believe we got it. We're on the right path. The ancestors are proud of us. I know they are. You've been listening to The Practice of a Hoodoo Baptist. This is my altar, my process, my truth. This is where I honor those who came before me and speak what was once kept in silence, covered by spirit, guided by blood. Until next time, peace.